Tonight, up to 20 cars destroyed in a major fire emergency as Victorian racegoers are forced to flee the flames. Plus, new vaccine and testing rules for teachers and students as part of the plan to reopen schools. Melbourne nightclubbers caught breaking dance floor rules, but there is fresh hope. The worst of Omicron is behind us. Multiple shark sightings force a popular Sorrento beach to close. And Tennis Australia officials facing a new scandal.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Rebecca Madden.
Good evening. Up to 20 cars have been destroyed in a major fire emergency at a racecourse in the Grampians. Punters ran from the fast-moving blaze as flames and toxic smoke took hold, forcing the annual Great Western Race meeting to be abandoned.
A race meeting ripped apart by raging flames, tearing through more than a dozen cars. One by one, exploding into fireballs.
Look at this, all the cars have gone. Look at this, there goes another one, look. Look at this one's going to go. We're getting out, see ya.
There's a tornado, there is a fire tornado.
One man stuns onlookers. Instead of escaping, he's captured running towards the growing flames, risking his life to save his car.
Everyone's running to move their cars now. It's very dangerous. All the cars are going up now. Like, look at that. Holy
Thousands of punters were evacuated from the Great Western Racecourse, forcing the Cup to be abandoned.
It has certainly grown in size, Maddie.
Quite amazing pictures.
Racing.com caller Rick McIntosh was there and says the fire spread rapidly to the middle of the racetrack.
It was like a bomb zone out there going off. We heard the bang, that the car that was on fire, the petrol or whatever blew up, and then that caused a chain. The cars obviously, next door to them, bang, bang, one after the other.
Crews spent hours bringing the fast-moving blaze under control.
I've never seen anything like this in my entire racecourse career, I can tell you. It's a new one on me.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. All horses, participants and punters escaped unharmed. Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Victoria's back-to-school plan has been unveiled, with teachers facing mandatory booster shots and all students to be tested for COVID at least twice a week. The Education Minister is promising parents that remote learning will only return as a last resort.
There's so much about being back at school the Pollard brothers are looking forward to.
I like to play tag, and I also like to play off-ground tiggy, and also everybody's it.
During the pandemic, it was Mum Kate who stepped in as prep and grade 2 teacher while also working from home.
I think the words, homeschooling sends shivers through most working parents. And the thought of, having to do homeschooling again is something I think most working parents would want to avoid.
But the government is adamant our days of remote learning are over. Term 1 begins in just over a week. Every precaution will be taken to keep kids and staff COVID-free and ensure classrooms stay open.
In line with the discussion, the principles at National Cabinet, schools are first to open and last to close. That means that remote learning is an absolute last resort.
To do this, the return to school looks very different in 2022. 14 million rapid antigen tests have been ordered so students and teachers can test for COVID at home twice a week. Those in special schools will need to test 5 days a week.
All schools will have them by Monday the 31st of January when students are back. So parents will either be picking them up from school on that Monday, or indeed where we can, schools will be contacting parents as they receive the rapid antigen tests through the course of the week.
It's going to pose some challenges. The kids don't really like the rapid antigen tests. However, I think if it gives us certainty around, going back to school, I think, we're okay with doing that.
The government's also ordered 30 million surgical masks for students in grade 3 and above.
They need to stick at this and work through it. There will be children get sick. There will be teachers off sick. We know that.
The last of 51,000 air purifiers are being delivered to schools over the next week, while 30 pop-up vaccination clinics will help 5 to 11-year-olds get their jab in time for term. Staff in schools and early childhood centres must have a booster shot by February 25.
I think it's a good range of measures. They are all things that we've been talking to the Department of Education and Government about.
And Jodie Lee, the new rules aren't set in stone.
Well, Beck, the state government will review all of these safety measures after the first month, in particular those rapid antigen tests. So far, 14 million have been ordered for use by staff and students within the first 4 weeks of the term. If they are deemed an appropriate safety measure, the government will need to distribute more tests. Beck?
Jodie Lee, thank you. Melbourne nightclubbers have been caught breaking COVID dance floor rules as Victoria's Omicron wave claimed another 14 lives. And the Premier today hinted it won't just be teachers expected to get boosted as they return to work.
As Victoria's COVID numbers flatten, dance floors are heaving. The government is not ready to drop the ban on indoor dance floors, density limits for hospitality venues or the requirement to wear masks.
You are eligible to be fined. We don't want to be issuing fines. We don't want to be making things any more difficult than they already are.
14 more Victorians have died with COVID, but the rate of new case numbers continues to fall. Just over 13,000 new cases in the past 24 hours, the fewest in Victoria since January the 3rd.
The most important thing is we've come off exponential growth, that it will take a while for the numbers to start to turn down, but at the same time, we've got all the indicators of that.
31% of Victorians have received their third dose. Momentum is building to make that the minimum standard.
The National Cabinet, I think, will confirm it, that this is not 2 plus an optional, it's 3 to be fully vaccinated.
The pressure on our hospital system has eased slightly. Another drop in patient numbers to just over 1,000. But little change to the count in intensive care, 120 people, 44 of them on ventilators. It's also been uncovered that less than 5% of hospital patients are triple vaccinated. Omicron has been felt hardest by older Victorians. The average age of hospital patients in Melbourne is 60 plus, almost 20 years older than most patients during the Delta wave. Some businesses claim they're struggling more now with reduced consumer confidence than they did during lockdowns.
If we do nothing, it's the equivalent of letting what we're seeing now, the crisis now, just rip through the economy. And the effect of that will be the economy catching long COVID.
Western Australia's COVID exile is becoming increasingly fragile. They've just recorded 24 new cases, their highest number since April 2020. Cameron Bowe, 7 News.
Multiple shark sightings along the Mornington Peninsula have forced authorities to close a popular beach in Sorrento. Victorians flocked to the water today with sweltering conditions expected to continue well into the week.
Lifesavers evacuate swimmers at sea and shut Sorrento Back Beach after multiple shark sightings along the Mornington Peninsula. Beaches were packed along the Victorian coast, from Phillip Island to Port Melbourne, anything to keep cool after a run of hot days.
It's absolutely sweltering.
Just going to go for a swim. The heat didn't deter thousands attending day one of the Midsummer Carnival.
Absolutely massive. We've got fans and we've got some drinks.
Today's 11-hour festival turning Alexandra Gardens into a sea of colour, uniting Melbourne's LGBTQI community.
It makes my little gay heart sing, so it's beautiful.
Everyone can just be themselves and everyone can be comfortable and it's celebrated. You know, it's not just kind of acknowledged, it's celebrated.
There isn't much respite for Melburnians craving a cool change, with temperatures set to linger above 30 for the next 4 days.
Definitely be here tomorrow again, for sure.
Passengers travelling on Seymour and Shepparton V-Line services tomorrow are being urged to plan ahead with the new extreme heat timetable in place. But for today, many are just enjoying the simple pleasures.
It's been really lively. I love ice cream.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
Australian Open organisers are facing more trouble tonight after vision emerged of security guards and police asking fans to remove what they say are politically motivated T-shirts.
So you'd like her to take the shirt off? Can you just show us the shirt?
The T-shirts read, "Where is Peng Shuai?" in reference to the Chinese tennis star feared missing after making sex assault allegations against a former politician. Meanwhile, CEO Craig Tiley today rubbished reports that Novak Djokovic is preparing to sue over his visa scandal. Victorian doctors are calling on the Andrews government to reveal a plan to restart elective surgery. Many specialists are sitting idle in the pandemic and want procedures fast-tracked for their patients most in need.
29-year-old mum Madison Turner is a long-time sufferer of endometriosis. She's spent almost 3 years on Victoria's public waiting list.
I live with chronic pain. Some weeks are better than others, but it's a lot of managing with, quite strong painkillers.
That list growing even longer since Category 2 and 3 procedures were paused.
It makes me feel frustrated, only because I have been waiting so long already.
They're under constant review and we'll have those services back and those patients getting the care they need as soon as we possibly can.
Doctors say to that, well, show us the plan, Dan.
Surgeons say the blanket ban doesn't make sense.
Whether it's from a chronic condition or from a workplace injury, those are people who can't currently access medically necessary surgery.
Surgeons are saying, we're being sent home, I'm mowing the lawns and making coffee. I can't operate on my patients.
Surgeons have told 7 News that for several months now they've been told they can't operate in public or private settings, even though many private hospital wards sit empty and their specialist teams haven't been redeployed.
Some of these private facilities for day surgery and short stay, they're not suitable for use in the COVID surge.
I saw an anaesthetist saying that he's actually applied to do additional shifts. There aren't any shifts available for him, so he's taking the week off.
Some are calling for better access to rapid antigen tests for staff to ensure theatres can safely reopen. Emma O'Sullivan, 7 News.
International aid has begun arriving in Ukraine as ordinary citizens braze freezing training camps to prepare for war. Mums and dads are learning to use guns to back up the military in case Russia invades again.
On the outskirts of Kiev, they arrive in family cars, boots loaded. For a growing number of Ukrainians, this is what an ordinary Saturday morning now looks like.
Because I want safety, my family, my friends, my country.
Контакт ліворуч.
The Territorial Defence Forces, an offshoot of the Army, was set up to train part-time reservists after the conflict started in 2014. Last year, these drills were opened to new recruits, with the current security crisis prompting a rush of volunteers.
Russia increased their troops next to our borders, and now we are surrounded from 3 sides of Ukraine.
Martha Uzkov never thought she'd be doing this at 51.
I was graduated as a doctor, but working for clinical research, and I have 3 kids.
Out here in this freezing forest, just like in the streets of the cities, you don't get a sense of fear or panic about an impending invasion, but they all say the same thing. They want to be as prepared as possible should the threat eventuate.
Maybe in a couple months in the future we will run like this, but the bullets will shoot at us, enemy, adrenaline more higher.
Today, Russia sent fighter jets to Belarus for what it says are military drills. The US Embassy in Kiev has requested the evacuation of all non-essential staff and their families. They could leave next week while shipments of American aid, like ammunition, arrive.
I feel more secure because I know that we are not alone.
From a soldier's point of view, he says, keep your guns ready. In Kiev, Ukraine, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
Australia is busy assembling what's looming as our greatest ever Winter Olympic team. The 44-person squad is almost complete, with just 12 days to go until the opening ceremony in Beijing.
What a roll call. Laura Peel, Scotty James, Jakara Anthony, Matt Graham, Belle Brockhoff, Jared Hughes. Olympic medalists, world champions, stacks of World Cup medals in their swags, but not the gold that really matters yet.
Everyone's stepping it up. It's going to be an amazing level of competition and really cool to watch.
Selected today, freestyle, cross-country and alpine skiers, snowboarders, a 16-year-old whiz named Valentino Giselli, bobsledders, all doing things Aussies aren't really supposed to.
Pretty bloody proud. We're all human. Why can't I achieve what the Germans and the Americans and the Canadians achieve?
Bree Walker will race the first Olympic monobob and dragged fellow former track athlete Chiara Redingis along for the two-person sled. From remote WA, she hadn't seen snow until a year ago.
I think anyone should just give it a crack and do what you want to do, pretty much, and don't limit yourself.
After 5 gravity-defying games, the legendary Lydia Lassila joins our 7 team.
We're going to see such a vast range of disciplines, and our athletes are actually really, really good in a lot of them. 17
days, 16 hours a day live, 20 dedicated channels across 7 and 7+, unprecedented coverage of a team with great hopes. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Oh, I can't wait. Jackie Felgate will be Beijing bound as part of the team, Lucky Duck. But before she goes, Jack Raffa, he sent a big warning to his rivals at Melbourne Park today.
He definitely did, Beck. He booked a spot in his 14th Australian Open quarter-final. The Spaniard pushed to the limits under the sun on centre court with his emotions spilling out. Also hear exclusively from Bulldogs star Aaron Norton and his message to the league while Danny Laidley takes centre stage for the Kangaroos. And Green Bay sent packing after a final second thriller in the NFL. It's been a big day, Beck. I'll see you soon.
Certainly has. Thanks, Jack. Well, a crackdown is underway to stamp out online bullying. Up next, why trolls could now face fines of up to $100,000. Plus, 2 women airlifted to hospital after hero cops pulled them from a burning car. A breakthrough test picking up genetic disorders at record speed. New advice on how much super you need to retire. And later, expert tips on ironing out bad holiday habits before kids return to school.
It's been a tough year for dancing. We asked for a small grant to carry on. We couldn't be happier with how that turned out. Everybody loves Kudo.
Strictly Ballroom 2, is that what you're thinking?
I can die happy now. She's got the face of an angel, but she will kneecap you in the car park faster than you can say Tonya Harding.
TV's greatest entertainment show is back.
Wow, this is going to be big.
Dancing with the Stars All-Stars. This February on 7.
You know, I went to a public school. I went to the public high school, the public primary school. So did my wife. I want to be there as a premier who actually supports small business, who gets coffee shops growing, restaurants growing, small manufacturing growing, regional farming businesses going again. We have to focus on the whole state, not just the government sector. I think humility is particularly in modern politics, when things are so presidential, you need to have a good grounding as to why you're there. And you're not there for yourself, you're there for your state. Now being a father, I know it's about my children's future and their future generations beyond them. And that's a very important thing to remember while you're in a parliament. Victoria needs a dose of positivity. We need a dose of energy. We need a dose of confidence again. You know, we've been lectured and berated and talked down. It's now time to find our inner pride again. Look, we've got to end the mental health crisis. We've got to cut down the hospital waiting lists, which are now out of control. We've got to get our kids back into the classroom. We've got to reinvest in small business. And we've got to focus on making our state a certain, safe place to invest, to go to school, to go to work, and that's through having no more lockdowns. I love where I live. I love the state that we're in. I just like Victoria. Meat pies, Holden cars, VBs, Victoria.
Authorised by Seema Queston for the Liberal Party of Australia, Victorian Division.
Snuggle in and shop your way at the Plush New Year New Sofa Sale.
where you can get up to 50% off every sofa, 100% made for you. Sail on now.
You can see lots of stars in Cobden, Western Victoria, the home of Western Star, where for over 94 years we've created not just butter, but a star. Western Star. More than butter.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but there's another big bank snapping at their heels. With 1.9 million customers, it's regularly voted one of Australia's most trusted brands. Welcome to Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Hungry Jack's Tropical Whopper's back with juicy pineapple, double bacon, and smoky barbecue sauce. Or fall in love with the new Tropical Jack's fried chicken. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Hero police officers have pulled 2 women from a burning car at Phillip Island. The on-duty members found the women unconscious after their car hit a tree and caught fire. Both women were flown to Melbourne and are being treated in hospital for serious injuries. A crackdown on online trolls is ramping up with new laws coming into force today. The sweeping powers and the threat of huge fines are the first of their kind anywhere in the world.
Whether it's in the real world or the electronic, the government's determined the same rules will apply.
For too long, there's been a view that the internet is beyond the reach of the rule of law.
To close that gap, the eSafety Commission has been handed new tools to help police the net.
This will be our accountability era to hold both perpetrators and platforms to account.
A world-first cyber abuse takedown scheme will give the Commissioner the authority to order the removal of harmful content, including so-called revenge porn, within 24 hours. Failure to comply could see individuals slapped with fines of up to $111,000 or $555,000 for corporations. The new Online Safety Act also puts search engines on notice, requiring them to block links to websites or apps that continually ignore takedown notices. Protections for children will also be expanded, enabling harmful material to be removed from more online services, including games, websites and messaging platforms. Not just social media channels. Experts say while big tech companies keen to protect their brands will likely toe the line, convincing smaller operators will be hard.
Is a site that's based in some, Western European country going to take any notice of our laws? Probably not.
The Commissioner also warning,
we're not proactively searching out online abuse.
It's up to victims to report it. Rob Scott, 7 News.
Melbourne researchers have designed a world-first test they hope will save the lives of thousands of children. The new procedure detects early stages of rare genetic disorders so treatment can start before it's too late.
Doctors will be able to detect 3 rare genetic disorders in children with one simple test.
Nobody's managed to do this for these conditions. We're the first ones.
The test can pick up on the early stages of Prader-Willi, Angelman and Dupe 15q syndrome.
We can tell that the child or the infant is at risk, high risk of having this condition. And so we can refer that to follow-up testing.
135 babies are born with the behavioural disorders annually and have common symptoms, making it difficult to detect. Elliot Semino was 6 months old when his mother noticed he couldn't sit upright.
He's nearly 5 and he can't walk, he commando crawls, he's non-verbal.
He was diagnosed 8 months later.
They just said that he was happy, which is actually a clinical symptom of Angelman syndrome, and he was just placid.
The diagnosis is delayed, they cannot apply interventions, the families keep on testing for other things, spending money.
Researchers want babies tested so treatment can begin early.
Before the test is added to the newborn screening program, it will need to be recommended by the national framework and approved by the state government. It could be rolled out in hospitals across the state as soon as 2024.
So the work going on here will benefit babies in Darwin and in Perth and in Tasmania and all around the country.
So children like Elliot can live a long and happy life. Kathleen O'Connor, 7 News.
Flooding has cut off entire towns in outback South Australia after a year's worth of rain came down in a day. Rescue crews have been flat out responding to hundreds of calls for help as the downpour turned roads into rivers and inundated homes. Authorities are warning there could be more flooding to come. To our weather now, and Sonia Marinelli is tracking this heatwave. Sonia, it was very tough to sleep last night. Everyone I speak to is exhausted.
I know, me too, Beck. That's because the temperature hovered in the 20s for most of the night. That explains why you might be feeling a little sluggish today. We briefly hit a low of 18 before soaring to a stifling 33 degrees. So that makes this day 4 of a low-intensity heatwave. We've got 3 more to go. The night staying warm as well, not dropping below 21 degrees. The humidity is building as well, so that's going to make for a steamy few nights and days. And as that humidity builds, so too the risk of showers and also storms. But I'll have those details after sport, Beck.
Great, thank you very much, Sonia. Up next, expert advice on breaking bad holiday habits as children prepare for a return to the routine of school. Plus, new tips on how much super you'll need to retire in style. A winter wildfire tears through California. And the chart-topping Wiggles with a rocking new hit.
This is the show Australia needs right now.
As a dad, I'm crazy proud.
Families come together.
Who calls the shots?
Friends come together.
I love singing with Kelsey.
This is where Australia comes together. For one spectacular week only, The Voice Generations starts Monday, Jan 31 on 7.
Mummy, are we going to miss our holiday?
No, we are not going to miss our holiday.
I think we should have got a later flight.
Can we watch our show now? Yeah, can we?
Wait till we get on the plane, you two. Daddy's downloaded it for you. You did download it, right?
Yeah.
Come on!
You don't need Australia's best 5G network until you do.
So tell me, what do you do when you need a real treat? I hit the candy drawer. Mine is very well stocked with Atkins treats. It's kind of like the day after Halloween, but without tons of sugar.
Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom, with up to 20% off sofas, up to 25% off furniture and homewares, and up to 50% off mattresses. But hurry, sale ends Australia Day, only at Freedom.
Meet Steve, a lifelong misser. Until he found the power of Raid Max with double nozzle. Hard to miss and kills on contact.
SC Johnson. Getting your 3rd vaccination now doesn't just protect you, it protects your entire family. Find your nearest vac site and walk in or book now. Your vaccination is your ticket. Go to coronavirus.vic.gov.au. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Phil Richardson, owner of RichTech. We're the trusted experts in electrical wiring and faults, block drains, hot water systems and shower regrouting, all to the highest standards. Book online today at richtech.com.au.
Let's get RichTech. We're fulfilling our favourite venues with deafening roars and applause, setting our community spirit soaring and getting behind a cracker cause. We're for the greatest family get-togethers, playing cricket on our sunniest beaches, eating the freshest crabs and juiciest prawns, and bowling the sweetest peaches. So come on, Melbourne, let's do this. Show some love, hug a hater. We're for you, and we always will be. But this year, we're for greater. Herald Sun, we're for you.
G'day, Warner here to talk to you about hair loss. Yes, hair loss, hair loss, hair loss! Got it? The medical specialists at Advanced Hair Clinic offer a 100% guarantee to get a result. 100%. That was good enough for me. Call now.
Millions of Victorians will return to work tomorrow, prompting financial experts to offer fresh advice on building a retirement nest egg. Many were forced to dip into their super during lockdown. Now we're being asked to answer three main questions.
Joanna and Bradley Wright have worked hard for their money. They're now reaping the rewards.
Well, it's a hobby, yes. I breed Labradors, which gives us hot chocolate money because I don't drink coffee.
The former nurse and automotive teacher saved, salary sacrificed and put extra cash into super so they could live comfortably.
And it's amazing how much even just $50 a week adds up to. All of a sudden, after a few years, you've got, $5,000-6,000 to spend on a nice holiday.
The magic number often used to calculate super is $1 million, but industry experts say everyone's different.
It's a figure that doesn't actually relate to individuals. Are you the average?
Mr Bramall instead says to consider what are your annual expenses, what is your life expectancy, what investment risks are you prepared to take?
If you enjoy sitting down, working your way through an Excel spreadsheet, you can do it. But if not, get advice.
Superannuation experts say relying solely on your pension during retirement can be fraught with danger. 1.5 million Australians are currently doing just that, with a third of them living in poverty. A single person on the pension receives up to $25,000 per year. A couple receives just shy of $38,000.
Unless you own your own home, you'll be struggling. If you own your own home, and you're living entirely on a pension, you'll still be struggling.
Making the new year the perfect time to start planning.
It's never too late to do something about it.
Ashley Kanowski, 7 News.
Hundreds of people have been forced to evacuate after a wildfire broke out in the mountains of Northern California. Plumes of smoke wafted above the canyon, fanned by wind gusts of up to 160 kilometres an hour. Firefighters are still working to contain the blaze, which has sent more than 1,500 acres of land up in smoke. Boris Johnson's tenuous grip on leadership is facing a new threat, with revelations Scotland Yard detectives are investigating allegations of blackmail within his government. A possible vote of no confidence against the British PM is on the cards.
Retreating to his countryside estate, Boris Johnson reportedly shoring up support, calling wavering MPs to mount a defence in the fight for his political future. The effort spurred on by accusations of intimidation and blackmail levelled against politicians who want the Prime Minister out in the wake of the lockdown party scandal. Those allegations are now being brought to the attention of Metropolitan Police.
Quite a few Tory MPs have told me pretty worrying stories about whips and government ministers and others saying, look, if you don't go the right way on this, you won't get your school, you won't get your hospital, you won't get your bypass. And I think that is misconduct in a public office.
William Ragg, the senior Conservative MP who first made the claims,
the reports of which I'm aware would seem to constitute blackmail,
confirming he would be meeting with authorities early next week.
On at least one occasion, I'm told that the Prime Minister has been saying it himself.
The PM himself vehemently denying the claims as a potential vote of no confidence looms. And confidence with constituents reaches new lows. Number 10 now bracing for the findings of an investigation into the lockdown parties. The critical report expected to be delivered in the coming week. In London, Sally Geit, 7 News.
Italy's billionaire and former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has bowed out of the country's presidential race 2 days before voting begins. The 85-year-old mogul was convinced he had the parliamentary support to win, despite facing legal action tied to his infamous Bunga Bunga sex parties. In a statement, Berlusconi said he's withdrawing in the spirit of national responsibility. A young police officer has been gunned down in the line of duty in New York. Jason Rivera, a rookie who'd been in the force for less than 2 years, was killed while attending a domestic disturbance in Harlem. His fellow officer is fighting for life. The shooting is the latest in a spate of violent crimes, highlighting the city's ongoing battle with gun violence. 2 years of COVID-plagued schooling has health experts warning it's more important than ever for children to get enough sleep. Researchers say a consistent routine directly impacts the mood of kids, and with the new term looming, it's crucial to start good habits now.
From camping in the backyard to late nights in front of the telly, school holidays are full of fun activities.
So much fun.
But with that comes lots of disrupted sleeps.
During summer, the sleeping patterns just go out the window because the kids are having late nights because of daylight savings. They'll be out in the pool till late. They'll be having movie nights.
That'll all have to change when school goes back in just over a week.
It's going to go from 8 o'clock to like 7 o'clock.
It's a real juggle to try to get them back into a rhythm in time for school.
UniSA researchers warn if parents want to get back to normal, they have to start now.
It can take some time for that body clock to catch up when there are changes to our routines and our schedules. So making sure that we're starting early and making small changes can be a lot less impactful on the body.
Experts say a consistent routine is also vital for managing children's anxiety, and with the new school year expected to be particularly stressful for kids, parents are being encouraged to control the controllable, especially when it comes to sleep.
If they're not getting enough sleep, this can make it trickier for them to cope with stress during the day. It's really important to assure them and help them work through their anxiety about the uncertainty at the moment.
Gradual change, including putting kids to bed 5 to 10 minutes earlier each night and waking them a little earlier each day, will ease the transition, while exercising outside during the day and avoiding technology in the evening are musts. Rosie Barnett, 7 News.
There's new hope tonight for anyone with age-related loss of sight. Up next, the bionic implant helping pensioners see clearly again. Plus another reason to celebrate for the reigning Australian of the Year. And how the Wiggles stunned the music world.
This is her so happy. You rarely see her like this.
For the very first time, the newly discovered home movies that'll give you a glimpse of the real Queen Elizabeth. The Queen Unseen, Tuesday on 7.
Mornings taste better with Nutella. Star on Disney Plus brings you Scrubs, Dope Sick, Dope Sick, Sons of Anarchy. Whoa, 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 you're kidding. Looks like things are getting a bit star-rated with Star on Disney Plus.
This is Alice. She's Alan's new girlfriend. She was impressed by his dedication to good gut health. Now they both take Metamucil daily to trap and remove waste to support a healthy gut. You'll find Metamucil for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Energy, internet, mobile. It's all together great value. And it's why Aussies choose us. AGL. Tell your love story this Valentine's Day with Pandora Jewellery.
The Snooze Super Summer Sale is now on. Save up to 50% off mattresses, including Sealy, Madison and Tempur, and up to 40% off bed frames. Hurry, sale ends Sunday.
It's amazing what a little snooze can do.
The giant's gold. This is the word.
I beg to differ.
I assume we're 50-50, right? What? You get 10%. That's me being generous.
Wow. You have no idea who you partnered with.
Let's find some parachutes.
What?
Unless you know a better way to jump out of a plane.
Oh, crap! Come on! How are they going to get them out of here?
Uncharted.
What is that thing on your face?
Puberty's right around the corner, kid. You can grow your own.
In cinemas February 17.
I only drink oak because I like the taste. Oh, oak. Kill hungry, thirsty, dead. Oi, want to be famous and mix your own flavour? If we choose yours, we'll make it. Go to oakflavorgenerator.com.au and kill hungry, thirsty, dead. Your way.
A bin fire has spread to a two-storey home in Richmond. Crews worked quickly to attack the flames. They managed to contain the blaze to the bin and the first floor balcony. No one was injured. Australian of the Year Grace Tame has announced her engagement to partner Max Heary. Tame took to social media to share the news after Heary dropped to his knee while the pair was on a bike ride. Tame has used her voice to push for legal reform for survivors of child sex abuse. There's new hope tonight for anyone suffering age-related loss of sight. A London grandmother has just received a bionic implant in her eye, bringing her a step closer to finally seeing her family again.
This is what life looks like for some people with age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. There's currently no treatment, but a revolutionary new procedure could change that.
This is a new era. We expect vision outcomes to be better.
A British grandmother has had a microchip implanted into her eye that could help restore her sight. During the operation, surgeons insert a 2mm wide microchip into the patient's retina. Once complete, the patient puts on a pair of special glasses fitted with a video camera which is connected to a small computer on the waistband. The glasses then capture the visual scene and a signal is passed back through the eye where it is interpreted as if it were natural vision.
Are you ready? Very good. Here comes the glasses.
This is the moment the device is switched on after surgery.
What can you see?
Flashing lights.
Flashing lights.
Small improvements, but potentially life-changing.
Yes, I'll be able to see my grandchildren, and when I look in the mirror, I'm going to get a shock.
It's early days for this bionic nana, as she's called by the grandkids, but for some patients, the new treatment offers real hope. Liam Tapper, 7 News.
They are the sound of everyone's childhood and now they're on everyone's party playlist. The Wiggles have taken out this year's Hottest 100, beating the likes of Justin Bieber, Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo.
For 30 years, their singing and dancing has put a smile on the faces of children around the country.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
But it was this cover, this performance, that caught the attention of an audience of all ages.
There must be something deep down in the middle down there.
The Wiggles, now with older new faces, went viral online for their rendition of Tame Impala's 2012 track, Elephant. So much so, it was voted #1 in Triple J's Hottest 100.
It was an amazing feeling. It was, I still haven't come down to earth. Just a great a bit of euphoria, very emotional. I know Murray and myself both teared up.
The pair, plus Jeff, now in their 60s, pleasantly surprised, but perhaps none more so than the artist behind the lyrics, honouring the group in 4 simple words.
If someone told me back when we released Elephant that in 10 years' time the Wiggles were going to cover it and it was going to get top 10 Hottest 100, I would have told you you were out of your mind.
It caught many off guard, including Queensland Police, tweeting they are now investigating how the Wiggles created such a banger.
I didn't even know they were in the running for it, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
The taste of success has inspired a new chapter for the Aussie band, sticking to theme.
We're doing a whole album of covers, and it's called Re-Wiggled. So we're doing Lime Cordiale, we're doing a whole lot of AC/DC.
Bill Hogan, 7 News.
Well, there you go. Jackie Felgate's back with sport. Now, the draw, it's opening up very nicely for our friend Rafael Nadal.
It is, Beck, yes. Another big upset for a top seed while the Spaniard is hitting top gear. Also, the Special K show rolls on as Kyrgios and Kokkinakis get the crowd on their feet. The Bulldog Stars set to take off with a warning to the league as the Kangaroos welcome back a club great. Melbourne City charges back to life in the A-League after a lean start to the new year. And the #1 seeds eliminated in 2 dramatic playoffs in the NFL.
This is her so happy. You rarely see her like this.
For the very first time, the newly discovered home movies that'll give you a glimpse of the real Queen Elizabeth. The Queen Unseen, Tuesday on 7.
The most awarded new play in history returns reimagined.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Direct from Broadway, the continuation of Harry's story will soon be transformed into one thrilling theatrical event. Experience the original two-part play now until March. The new reimagined one-part play begins May. Tickets are on sale. Book at harrypottertheplay.com.
A glance at your phone is the same as this. When you're on your phone, you're driving blind.
Bev Marts are celebrating Australia Day by discounting all mattresses by 50%. That's all sizes, no gimmicks, no exceptions, just 50% off all mattresses. Sale ends 5 p.m. Tuesday. Bev Marts, the sleep professionals. Better sleep, better life.
Get your Woolies worth with great weekly specials, like powerful Sard stain removal sprays, 420 to 450 mils, now just $3. That's half price. It's just another way to get your Woolies worth.
I'm with one. Yeah, Mum. I suddenly realised I just got my first one.
Like nearly 5 million others, you too could be better off with a super fund run for you. Just look for the symbol.
10 essential vitamins and minerals, low GI, protein, high in fibre. It's amazing what they squeeze into an Up and Go.
We squeeze more good stuff in, so you can get more out. Also available in dairy-free.
When Bet365 was created, we had a simple vision. We wanted to connect people to every game that matters. We wanted to build the ultimate sports app. So we did. Download the app and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's favorite online betting company.
Gamble responsibly.
This Sport Report is brought to you by Bet365. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back. Rafael Nadal has booked a place in his 14th Australian Open quarter-final after a ruthless performance on centre court. But number 3 seed Alexander Zverev suffered a shock loss. Greek star Maria Sakkari also heading home early, while Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis continued their wild ride in the doubles. A thrilling first set that lasted 81 minutes.
Rafa gets it done. 16-14.
Rafael Nadal pushed to the limit by world number 69, Adrian Mannarino, in a 25-shot rally.
Adrian Mannarino steps up to the plate.
But the 20-time major winner showed why he's one of the all-time greats, going on to win in straight sets.
Oh, wow. Here it comes.
Happy to be in quarterfinals. I know I need to play very, very well to try to keep having chances.
He'll face Canadian Denis Shapovalov, who defeated number 3 seed Alexander Zverev.
Shapovalov shines in Melbourne. He's through to his first Australian Open quarter-final.
Outside Rod Laver, the Kyrgios and Kokkinakis show rolled on. A packed house treated to more magic from Nick.
Oh, that's phenomenal. To hit a winner from that far back.
Tempers flared, but the Aussie duo held on to secure a quarter-final berth.
Let the wild ride continue.
Oh man, it's been pretty easy. You know, obviously, today these guys were tough.
Former champion Victoria Azarenka's Open is over, going down to Czech Barbora Krejcikova. And last night, a legend of the sport watched Aussie young gun Alex de Minaur move into the round of 16.
Definitely a great moment to savour for many years to come.
Indeed. For the second straight day, the Women's Ashes T20 clash has been abandoned due to rain in Adelaide. Meanwhile, Mitch Marsh faces an anxious wait on a hamstring injury ahead of next week's Big Bash final. The World Cup hero didn't field after his knock of 28 against the Sixers as the Scorchers recorded a comprehensive win.
Strong square. That is huge. It's as big a ball as he's hit tonight. Magnificent shot from Patterson.
Sixers star Dan Hughes rolled his ankle in the warm-up. Sydney will face the winner of tonight's clash between the Thunder and the Strikers for a spot in the final. One of AFL's emerging forwards has issued a bold warning to his rivals. Aaron Naughton says he's as fit as ever and will take charge of the Dogs' forward line this season.
At just 22, Aaron Naughton is already the game's best pack mark.
Goal Naughton flies and takes an absolute screamer, a beauty.
And he's only getting started.
I see it as my weapon in my game, so yeah, it's something that I'll still continue to grow and hopefully get better at.
Injury-free, the budding superstar is turning heads at the kennel this summer.
Fitness has probably gone up a little bit since not having any niggles and being able to get a good block of training in pre-Christmas away from the club.
Tearing apart match simulation this week, buoyed by an extended stint at home in Perth, training with South Fremantle.
It was awesome just to go down, a bit of a different environment, no pressure, and just enjoy footy again.
His time west coming after a road trip with teammates including skipper Marcus Bontempelli and new forward partner Jamara Ugle-Hagan.
I spent a bit of time even in the off-season and yeah, he's really come back in good shape and really driven to have a good crack this year.
With 78 games under his belt and Josh Bruce injured, Naughton suddenly finds himself as an elder statesman in a forward line that could include Cody Waitman and teenagers Ugle-Hagan and Sam Darcy in 2022.
It's a bit strange. I've played a few games now and yeah, you probably start to get that leadership sort of title and role down in the forward line. I'm probably one of the more experienced players down there. We're still pretty young.
Now with one focus after the Demons' grand final title wave.
It's not the ideal way to finish the season. The group's really driven to, make it one more.
Mitch Cleary, 7 News.
It was a demolition job in the AFLW as North Melbourne cruised to a 27-point win over the Giants. Former men's coach Danny Laidley tossed the coin to help celebrate Pride Round. The Roos kept the Giants scoreless in the first half and were never challenged, remaining undefeated at Arden Street.
Players will fly. No one on it except Jazzy Garner at ground level, and it's trickled through for a goal. All going North's way.
Last night, the Dockers kicked 5 goals in the final term to defeat the Tigers by 30 points. South East Melbourne has snapped a 2-game losing streak in the NBL. Mitch Creek starred with 19 points as the Phoenix got back on the winners list, edging out the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers 76-63.
That's what they're talking about. Throw it up for cheap.
The win keeps them in 3rd place on the ladder. And Melbourne City has snapped a 3-game winless streak. Socceroo Jamie McLaren pounced to score the first goal against the Mariners before Andrew Naboo helped seal a 3-1 victory.
An option. Here he is again. As he crosses back post for Naboo, fantastic ball, and it's Berenguer with his first assist of the season.
The win lifts them up to 3rd on the A-League ladder. Manchester United has leapfrogged West Ham into full draw. Tennessee came clawing back in the NFL divisional playoffs against Cincinnati to level scores with a 40-yard touchdown. The Bengals had the last laugh in the final seconds.
He's got it! Cincinnati wins! They are going to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1988.
It was a thriller too, as the San Francisco 49ers caused a massive upset courtesy of a field goal with the final play of the game defeating the Green Bay Packers 13-10. And Beck, don't forget, it's the Thunder and the Strikers tonight in the Big Bash live on 7 straight after the news.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Well, Sonia is next with the forecast. Sonia, when can we expect some relief from this hot weather, please?
Oh, Beck, the short answer is not for a while. This heat wave is forecast to last for days, and we've got some showers and storms thrown into the mix as well. I'll have the details next.
Tonight at the MCG, it is the knockout. The Sydney Thunder taking on the Adelaide Strikers to keep their finals hopes alive. And the Strikers, Ricky, they're flying.
They're flying. They've won 5 straight games. They were very impressive against the Hurricanes the other night. Momentum's one thing, but can they keep it going in the finals?
That is the big question tonight. You can catch all the action at 7 on 7.
When Bet365 was created, we had a simple vision. We wanted to connect people to every game that matters. We wanted to build the ultimate sports app. So we did. Download the app and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's favorite online betting company.
Gamble responsibly.
Find your perfect fit at the Plush New Year New Sofa Sale. where you can get up to 50% off every sofa, 100% made for you. Sail on now.
Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. And Perfect Italiano is perfect for that. Not so good for that. But for a delicious meal every time, Perfect Italiano is perfect for that.
I'd like to find my daughter a support worker after class on Wednesdays who loves to cook and is into salsa dancing.
Mabel is the website that's revolutionising disability support. It lets you find and choose people offering the support that you want. And because we're online, it's easy and affordable. Find your people at mabel.com.au.
Get your Woolies worth with great weekly specials, like powerful Sard stain removal sprays, 420 to 450 mils, now just $3. That's half price. It's just another way to get your Woolies worth.
In my life, there's been toothache and pain. HBF has helped me time and again. Members first, they're not for profit. They changed this quacker's life. Now I know what love is. Now I know what love is. HBF's how it should be.
There'll be lunches from Cape York to Broome, and on warm afternoons near Mudgee. Because Tip Top bakes every day with Australian wheat.
We could all do with some extra love. Well, at Metricon, during our Designer Series More Love celebration, we're giving $50,000 to spend on bonus luxuries for just 10 grand. Like beautiful, hard-wearing, long-lasting Dulux paint. Or harness the power of Braemar, the best in heating and cooling. The Metricon More Love celebration. On now.
Know the headlines as they break. Know the stories as they happen. With 7news.com.au, know the news now.
Hello again. I hope you are enjoying this balmy evening outside right now. The city is holding on 31 degrees. Our Sunday getting off to a warm start. We briefly dipped to 18 this morning, then it was straight back up to a stifling 33 degrees. That makes today day 4 of a low-intensity heat wave. We've got 4 more to go before we get a reprieve, and I'll have more on that shortly. But first today, yet again, the beach was the place to cool off. This was at Phillip Island. It hit 31 degrees there. It's now sitting on 26, but areas further north you can see still sitting in the low 30s. Watsonia, you were on 32 this evening, also in Scoresby, and it's 31 degrees right now up at the airport. And across the state this evening, temperatures are holding in the low 30s for inland parts. It is cooler along most of the coast now. It is 23 for those in Sale. We're still in a similar setup to yesterday. We have a high sitting east of Tasmania, and that deepening low pressure system over South Australia this week. They'll work together to funnel hot and humid air over the state, also drawing in some showers as well. The area for hit and miss showers will expand on Thursday into Friday. So by that time, most of the state will have received something. We're also expecting the risk of storms to increase through the week as well. Across the state tomorrow, though, similar temperatures, but it will feel more sultry as that humidity rises under a light to moderate northeasterly wind. High cloud moving in from the west, but we're only expecting showers to develop about the eastern ranges. Closer in and tomorrow should be a degree or so higher in some spots, a top of 26 in Torquay and on Phillip Island as well. Everywhere else, though, rising above 30. It's 33 for you in Sunbury, Werribee 32, Scoresby 34 and a top of 32 for those in Frankston. Across the bay, a top of 31 in both Avalon and and Geelong. In the city tonight, hour by hour, the temperature stays warm, only dipping to the low 20s through the early parts of the morning. So we are starting on 21 degrees. We're climbing to a humid 33. It's nice and bright. We'll see lots of sunshine through the day. And that humidity is here to stay. We're reaching for a humid top of 34 on Tuesday. Mostly dry for your Australia Day, but hot and steamy as we again head for 34 degrees. There is a slight chance of an afternoon shower or storm, but they're more likely to develop on Thursday and Friday. They are both the most active weather days in the forecast. Saturday, the coolest day, 24, with a possible shower. The heat returning on Sunday, albeit under cloud. So this week, the heat stays, the humidity builds, but the next few days likely staying dry. As for tomorrow, hot and steamy as we head for a top of 33 degrees, so we can bank on a few more restless nights
I
ahead.
wish I was still on holidays. No, only joking. That's 7 News for this Sunday. The Big Bash is coming up next. For now, though, from the team, good night.
From the legendary J.J. Abrams.